Sein Sowjetzeichen soll er vor sich hertragen und wir werden in unserem Zeichen wieder siegen.
Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. This video is going to be a response video to a video that was published on the YouTube channel of Central European University, where Yuval Noah Harari talked about good things of nationalism. So let's go ahead and listen what Yuval Harari has to say about good things of nationalism.
A lot of people are concerned about the rise of nationalism, but I think we should be very careful to separate the good side from the bad side of nationalism. Obviously, ultranationalism, which becomes fascism and which leads to war and genocide, is one of the worst phenomena in human history. But nationalism also has a very bright side. And people imagine that without nationalism, we would all be living in some kind of liberal paradise. But much more likely, without nationalism, we would be living in tribal chaos.
I want to make a quick comment in here. The existence of sovereign state is the product of tribal mentality. And as far as tribal chaos is concerned, sovereign state is the granddaddy of all tribal chaos. Just look at the First World War and Second World War and all the other wars that was fought by sovereign state. I cannot think any better example of tribal chaos than First and Second World War. Is the probability of tribal chaos without nations Harari is talking about going to trump the chaos of First and Second World War?
Because the big project of nationalism is to make a lot of strangers care about one another and be able to cooperate. I come from a relatively small nation, Israel. It has just 8 million citizens, but still I don't know 99.99% of the other Israelis. I don't know them personally, I never met most of them, I'm unlikely to ever meet them. But nationalism makes it possible for me to care about these millions of strangers and to cooperate with them. And this has been one of the greatest advances in human history.
Now, I do agree that nationalism does bring a lot of people under the same umbrella, but at the same time, nationalism creates many different umbrellas. So nationalism unites a lot of people, and nationalism also divides a lot of people. So if one thinks that uniting people is a good thing, then nationalism is a very good way to do it. But in other hand, if one thinks that dividing people is a bad thing, then nationalism is also a very good way to do it. Globalism, in other hand, going to unite all the people under the same umbrella. So globalism is a way better tool to unite people and make people to care about other human beings than nationalism.
And also, I don't think, one of the other problems that often people cite with nationalism is that nationalism is a barrier for cooperation on the international level. The President of the US just recently said that there is a contradiction between nationalism and globalism, and that people should choose nationalism and reject globalism. But I think this is a mistake. It's a very simplistic approach, because there is no contradiction between nationalism and globalism. Nationalism isn't about hating foreigners. Nationalism is about loving your compatriots. And in the 21st century, the only effective way to guarantee the prosperity and safety of your compatriots is to cooperate with foreigners, with other nations. So I think that today, good nationalists should also be globalists.
I am sorry to say what Harari is saying in here is absolutely garbage. First of all, nationalism divides people mainly based on where a person is born and the identity of their parents. And in other hand, globalism say that no, you can't divide people based on where a person is born and the identity of their parents. So you cannot choose both at the same time. That's illogical. If nationalism say A and globalism say not A, then you can't be a nationalist and a globalist at the same time. And there are many things where nationalism say A and globalism say not A. So what Harari is saying in here is absolutely garbage. And why we even need the concept of foreigners? Is it necessary? I do not think so. I think as human we can learn to love someone who was born 100 miles away from us as much as who was born 10 miles away from us. Why we need a system where our love will differ based on how someone is born?
In the 20th century, we had three big stories: fascism, communism, liberalism. Fascism collapsed, then communism collapsed, and now liberalism is in crisis. And there is yet nothing to replace it. The stories that try to fill the vacuum caused by the crisis of liberalism are mostly just nostalgic fantasies about going back to some golden past that never really existed and that we can't go back there anyway. I'm not saying that liberalism is completely collapsing. Liberalism has managed to overcome several very serious crises before. It can do so again. But even if it is collapsing, so far we have no better alternative. There is yet no new story for the world in the 21st century.
I think there are some very good concepts that can actually replace the current system. And one of them could be a world government. Just think, USA have 50 states and a central government. India has around 30 states and a central government. Now, what we can do is extend the system that is in USA or in India and expand that to a global scale, like having a central government and maybe 100 or even thousands of state government. And the central government can ensure that everyone can enjoy basic human rights, and one of them is the right to move. Nationalism creates a system where I won't be able to move where I want. Like I can't go to Israel if I want to. I have to pray to visa guards, and if those visa guards answer my prayer, then and only then I'll be able to go to Israel. But in a world government, we won't have to pray to visa guards anymore. And in other hand, people who are poor will have better chance to earn money. They'll be able to compete with Westerners who earn more money. Now, I do understand that will mean that Westerners are not going to be able to earn as much as they do now. But if that's the reasoning that you want to give for nationalism, then all you are saying that I'm a selfish human being and I don't care about morality and others' right. In other hand, some people think that a world government can become a totalitarian government. I agree it can. There is nothing illogical about it. But how likely it is? And don't you think it is less likely with 7 or 8 billion people to live in a totalitarian system than, let's say, a small portion of people, like people in North Korea? So I think overall, a global government could be a very good thing for us.
In the 1990s and early 2000s, people were convinced that this is the end of history and liberalism has won, and from now onwards we are on a straight line when liberalism and democracy will just spread all over the world. And now we realize this was very naive. Something unexpected happened. History took a different turn. And it is very likely to happen again. I mean, if people now imagine that we'll just see the more and more spread of old-fashioned authoritarianism and extreme nationalism and maybe the re-emergence of fascism, maybe. But just as likely, history will take another unexpected turn, and nobody really knows how the world would look like in 20 or 30 years. I think the main message to people is that nothing is inevitable in history. You still have a lot of agency, a lot of power. If you want to see something happening in the world, you can try and help make it happen.
Now, I absolutely agree with Harari in here. If you want to see a change, then we should do something about it. That's why I'm making this video, because I want to see a change. If you find anything wrong with the concept of a world government, let me know in the comment section. We can discuss about it. If you want to follow me, you can do that through my YouTube channel, The Fleeing Thinker. You can also do that through my Facebook page, The Fleeing Thinker. Thanks for watching this video. Have a good day.